This is my video log on the feedback on the final animation that went through to submission. So I'll play it for you now, and then I will talk in detail about it. So that was it. Overall, I'm really happy with it. I felt like that it really captured what I wanted to capture, which was Chuck Jones's Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, and with the run cycles and the stops like that, it really works, and I really like it. One little really picky detail is just this, where if you look at the other frames, it's actually coloured in, as you can see here. It's nice coloured in there, and then on that one frame it's just gone. So there is, I think, throughout this animation some issues with colouring where I've missed it out, and it's just been hidden from me, so that's been really picky about it. But as an animation, as a final animation, that is something to look for. It's probably a common mistake because it is something that's hidden, but it's really to thoroughly check it before you export it. Another thing that I was mainly worried about was the length of the text and how long it would be on screen for. With the first two, with the boyfriend and the girlfriend, I felt like it did stay on long enough. I was quite worried with punctuation because of me being dyslexic, and I was quite worried that maybe someone would read it and it wouldn't make sense. But I checked with peers and said, does this make sense? Does this work? And a lot of them gave me feedback and said, yeah, that works, that makes sense. With the capital letters, I made that to really stand out, really how angry this character is, from having the mick taken out of her. So that was something I added in there. With the cycle and with this being paused, I was really happy with the cycles. It worked really well, and was really happy with the background and how it actually worked as a cycle. And I've never done that before. I've never done a run. I've done a run cycle, but I've done a run cycle without a background moving. And I was quite worried about this, and I did ask feedback and questions about it. And the feedback that I got was, because I asked if maybe I should look at like what I do a lot with Richard Williams, his survival guide, survival kit even. It's like kind of like the professional way, or the actual proper way of doing it. And the feedback I got was to do it by eye. So I did it by eye and calculated it by knowing that this cycle here is 6 or 7 frames. This one is 7 frames, and the girlfriend is 9 frames. So I did 7 frames for this, for the boyfriend, so 7 backgrounds moving across, so it would work. The other thing that I nearly did, which luckily I corrected as I was doing it, was I nearly went from something like that to that, and not having the kind of the rest of the news in there, or with at the end where kind of get the rest of it in. So it flows well. I think there's a better example here where you have the shop, and then you have And then you have in the next frame up and the rest of it, so it flows through, which I took from research from watching Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, and which is where the soundtrack comes from. I took it from my favourite Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon, which is Supersonic, and the music and the ding ding is all from that. So all this sound being played now is all from the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon. The main issue with this, I would say, is the end. I felt that all of it from here worked well, worked smoothly, and I was really happy with it. The one problem here was the cut. The head, I did want it to go another frame, so it was looking straight on, but it didn't work, and it didn't flow, so I had to have it one frame ahead to make it kind of get the turned around, and then, oh, it's just spotted something. And with this kind of using, like, as J.J. Abrams says, the mystery box, which is where you hide stuff from the audience, make it a mystery. So from doing this, having the shot of his face and showing, oh, I've seen somebody he really does want to see, and having the skid at this point to kind of take a while without the mother-in-law coming in, to kind of still keep that kind of mystery box and keep the audience guessing what's going on, which J.J. Abrams did with the new Star Wars, and got the audience kind of guess what the narrative was. At this point, really, before you see the mother-in-law, I'm expecting the audience to kind of think, that's what happens a lot with cartoons, which is, oh, the girlfriend is caught up and is now in front of him. But I thought, no, that's not what's happening. It's the mother-in-law, which hopefully the audience won't expect, and would think, first off, looking at this shot, who's that? And you don't find out until it says the mother-in-law. So I think that kind of sense of mystery in this animation, I think, is really good. To put in something really good to put in for the audience as well. Gotta have that kind of guessing game in there. The massive problem is at this point is that at the end I felt like that the audience wouldn't have that long to read it. You can go back and pause it like I am now and read it in case you missed it, but the idea is that you kind of, if this was kind of like going on to TV or something, you may be able to watch it there and then. And I was quite short for time, and I had to cut it down because the original animation, the director's cut that unfortunately I lost and couldn't get a copy of that to put on the blog, was probably around 30 seconds, which is way over. And plus I did the Easting as well, which would have put it to 40 something seconds, which would have doubled what the brief asked for. So I had to cut it down. Besides, I had to cut down the director's cut so that I could fit it under 20 seconds. It goes to 21, but I was told that seconds won't hurt. One thing that I was really happy with that went successful was I think it's counter zoom, is the shot that is famously known in Jaws, and that's this one here, where in live action it would be that you'd move the camera forward while zooming out if you were to film it in live action, and there's the result there. And in this I kind of did the same thing. I say kind of as in same principle of one going forward and the other one coming back, so one zooming in, one zooming out, but obviously I animated the kind of camera zooming out of the character and the background kind of being zoomed in and enlarged it to create that effect, and I was really happy with it. I think I should have done a lot more frames. I say that now because that's what I thought was that it could have had a lot more frames in for when it kind of does the zoom. So I think a lot more frames would have been better for that one. Mainly the endings that I felt like it was really rushed, and I was kind of happy at that point that you did just get the emotion of the character of looking at the audience and going, you know, well, I'm in trouble, can't get out of this one, kind of thing. And I really like the fact that I got the character to look at the audience, kind of breaking the fourth wall, because that's seen a lot in Trick Jones's and in the Tex Avery's. It's kind of like the breaking the fourth wall. Tex Avery goes kind of like over the, I wouldn't say over the top, but goes to the next level of having the character speak to the audience, which if I could put that in, I would. And there's a lot of reference to Tex Avery and Trick Jones in there. With this character being a redhead, I made her completely white because of the kind of stereotypical joke of redheads being really pale. And Tex Avery does that a lot with more sexist jokes or more stereotypical jokes as well that he would put in. Another one was the design of the mother-in-law, which, with the apron and the kind of stereotypical sexist joke of being in the kitchen and cleaning, which Tex Avery does a lot as well, and being very harsh towards mother-in-laws in his animations as well that I've seen before with chairs, and he goes through different chairs like the masters, the male chair, the female chair, and the mother-in-law's chair. And the mother-in-law is actually an electric chair. So I kind of took from that. With the design, I actually put kind of personal semiotics in there and added kind of things such as the pale skin and the browny red hair, and little semiotics to actually details and kind of qualities from my ex-girlfriend's mothers. So the red hair and the pale skin was taken from kind of my past ex-girlfriend's mums. So it was kind of, I thought it was kind of a unique thing to put in there. Unique and quite a interesting thing to put in there, really, as a director. And also with reference to Tex Avery and Trick Jones is the kind of the circular coming into the end. I was going to write the end and then put my animation company logo on there, which is a kidney splattered with blood, is my company's called Kidney Boy Wonder, but as obviously limited on time and it being very long as it is now, I couldn't put that in. Another nice thing that I have mentioned on my blog are things such as, if I can get it at the right time, there, is this sign here. Only the animator can read this. This is because I am dyslexic and have Erlang syndrome, which means I can't read black and white. I can only read red writing in warble green that is, background paper. So I thought some of that personal and kind of semiotic jokes that you see sometimes in animations, to me it's like couple of seconds or a couple of minute break from the hard work that you do, and you have a laugh about it and you think, oh, that's funny, and then you get back to work. But it was a nice little add in there that I think was quite funny. I was also kind of going to put kind of like the animator ran out of ideas for signs and stuff like that, to kind of break the kind of fourth wall of the production of animation, and to show that it's an animation just like in Chuck Jones's Duck and Muck. So I decided to put that in. Another one I put in as well with signs is this one that says some store, because I thought it would be funny to put it in. It's kind of like some store. So I was happy to put kind of like that kind of joke in there as well. And I was also going to put with the bar and guns, have kind of like a street sign on the wall saying very violent street or very violent road, because it's quite probably two shops that should not be next door to each other, I would say, but I think that would have been something quite funny to put in there. But overall, I'm really happy with this animation, and to me, I think it's a very unique style, and mainly the beginning bit here, I just think it is quite, to me, it looks almost professional to me, and I'm really proud of it, and really happy with the accomplishments I've made and achievements with the cycles, and with the ambition, because this was a pretty ambitious project, to be honest. Because I did come up with this idea about a year ago, and I was really happy to kind of bring it from kind of like the archives and bring it out and get it made and get it finished. And all the movements worked well, uh, and that even like with this one where he skids, and that it works that the mother-in-law's coming in, and it looks like he is actually moving towards the mother-in-law when really it's all on the spot. He's been pegged and she's been pegged, and they'll be brought in until they collide. The other thing I think was probably with the peg with the mother-in-law. I think that was probably a bit oddly timed. I don't know. To me, I think probably getting the same timing and speed would be probably better for that one, because I think the mother-in-law was probably a lot longer than the skid. Um, but to me, together it does work well. But I think that's something really technical that I think is gone wrong with it. Another thing actually uh, was the speed of the background when he skids. It did slow down, so I think it's twos first for a while, then threes, then fours, and I did that because to kind of get the sense of that he is slowing down. I don't know if that is the correct way, but from eye and from thought of how I'm going to make it look like it's slowing down would be to slow the background down. So I did choose threes and fours. Would have probably been better to put more frames in, and that would have been the uh, more better quality to the animation, and it would have been a lot more smoother if I put more frames in to slow him down when it's skidding. But overall, really happy with the animation, really happy with the cycles. Um, I watch it and find it hilarious, and also while working on it, seeing it in the editing stage, seeing it come together, seeing it with music and time, the dings that are in it was really nice and really rewarding, which is what is the great thing about animation, is when you're animating something and you're thinking, why am I doing this? It's taking ages. The main thing to think about is think how absolutely brilliant it's going to look when it's finished, and I'm really happy with this animation.